It's a question that sparks heated debate, but the legal answer might surprise you. Yes, undocumented immigrants do have rights under the U.S. Constitution. In this video, we'll break down which rights apply, which ones don't, the key Supreme Court cases that shape this reality, and how these rights are enforced in real life. Let's start with the foundation. The U.S. Constitution often uses the word person rather than citizen. That one word has had a massive impact. It means many constitutional protections apply to anyone physically present in the United States, regardless of legal status. Two major amendments prove this. First, the Fifth Amendment ensures due process at the federal level. Second, the 14th Amendment says that no state shall deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. That means fair legal procedures apply to everyone, not just citizens. The Supreme Court backed this up as far back as 1886 in the case of Yick Wo versus Hopkins. A Chinese immigrant was denied a business permit while others were approved. The court ruled this violated equal protection, setting a precedent that non-citizens are protected under the Constitution. So what rights do undocumented immigrants actually have? Let's go over the key ones. First, due process. Undocumented individuals cannot be detained or deported without a hearing or legal process. Second, equal protection. They are entitled to fair treatment under the law, including access to public education and protection from discrimination. Third, freedom of speech and religion. They can express opinions, protest peacefully, and practice any religion. Fourth, protection from unreasonable searches and seizures. Authorities need probable cause or warrant to search homes or personal devices. Fifth, protection from cruel and unusual punishment. Even in detention, the government cannot subject them to inhumane treatment. These rights are not theoretical. They are backed by landmark cases. Take Plyler versus Doe in 1982. Texas tried to deny public education to undocumented children. The Supreme Court said no education is a right for all children living in the U.S., regardless of immigration status. Then there's Zadvydas versus Davis in 2001. The court ruled that indefinite detention of undocumented immigrants violates due process. Even without citizenship, people cannot be jailed forever without justification. Let's shift to rights in the workplace. Undocumented immigrants still have the right to be paid for their labor. The Fair Labor Standards Act protects all workers, regardless of status. They also have the right to report unsafe working conditions to OSHA, and employers cannot retaliate against them for doing so. Unions, too, are an option. They can join, organize, and bargain collectively under the National Labor Relations Act. Of course, there are limits. Undocumented immigrants cannot vote in federal elections. Voting is a right tied to citizenship, and attempting to vote can result in serious legal consequences. They are also ineligible for most federal public benefits. Programs like Medicaid, food stamps, and welfare are generally off limits, except for emergency care or special cases like DACA. And even with some protections in place, undocumented immigrants remain at risk of detention and deportation at any time. That's a reality that shapes every part of their daily lives. Now let's talk about legal gray areas. Some cities and states act as sanctuary jurisdictions. They refuse to cooperate fully with federal immigration enforcement. This is legally complex and still being challenged in courts across the country. Border enforcement is another gray zone. Constitutional rights are more limited at ports of entry. Customs agents have broader authority to search and detain. And then there's ICE. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has been accused of constitutional overreach, raiding homes, schools, and even detaining U.S. citizens by mistake. Programs like DACA and TPS offer temporary protection, but they're fragile. Political shifts or court rulings could take those protections away at any time. So what's the bottom line? Undocumented immigrants have constitutional rights. They are protected under the law in many critical ways. But exercising those rights is not always easy. Fear of deportation keeps many silent. Legal help is expensive and not guaranteed. Court systems are inconsistent. Enforcement is often uneven. But there is hope. Community organizations, advocacy groups, and legal aid clinics work hard to defend these rights. Know Your Rights workshops, hotlines, and defense campaigns are lifelines for many immigrants. To wrap up, the Constitution protects persons, not just citizens. And while not every right applies, the most fundamental ones, due process, equal protection, and freedom of speech, do. Understanding this can be life-changing. Whether you're undocumented, know someone who is, or just want to be informed, remember, knowledge is power. Thanks for watching. Stay informed. Stay aware. And if you can, help someone else do the same.